See if we're on here. Oh, looks like we are on. For whatever reason, Restream will not name my streams. Keep trying. Does not work. Try. Okay, well, we are on. And that is something. I believe we can edit the stream titles directly where they live. That's fine. Well, we've come up with a bold title for our stream. Suppose this will be mainly for the VOD watchers. Meaning after MMOs. Office hours for lost players. Been thinking for some time about the kind of life that I want to live. And for a long time, this question has led me in a direction of subtraction, removing things from life, among them playing video games, but that is not the only thing. And I'm getting to a point where I'm starting to ask more the question, what is it that I want to go to? Find the positive answers. And we've been writing, we've been sharing our thoughts on our little YouTube walks, but I've had this long, unsatisfied itch to reconnect in real time with folks. Learn what's really going on and see if there's a way we can make each other a little better by sharing a little love and brotherhood. It's a big, distracting world out there. Try to slow it down. Well, here's what I've done. I've carved some time out of my schedule on Thursday nights. Probably stream for a couple hours. And I've resolved to turn it on every Thursday night, say at around 6 o'clock Pacific time. Hopefully, aspirationally. See where we go. You know, I'm not sure if I have chat pulled up. I don't even know if I know how to look at chat. People might be chatting with me and I don't even know it. Well, let's see if we can fix that. One of the things that I've done is, even though I have my old gaming and streaming PC right over there on the floor. I've took the extra time to get stream set up on the laptop because I have no games here. And I know that as a result of turning the stream on, I'm going to run out of things to say and reflect on, and I'm going to start feeling discouraged by hearing only the echo of my own voice. And I'm going to feel tempted to turn on a video game to fill up the space, and I'm trying to not do that. Not because there's something wrong with video games, but because I think it floods what could be otherwise good things from happening. At least for me. What am I trying to do? Chat. Let's see if this yields. Hooray! The chat is waiting for new messages. Okay. That sounds like a good thing. How can I see? How can I see my YouTube chat? I don't even know how. I gotta just hope that it's working, huh? Probably the majority of this stream will just be me nattering on and trying to make things work. But if I did this right, you should see me and hear me and maybe hear a little Oblivion music in the background, because still something about certain gaming worlds that tickles at me. Still something there. Okay. Let's see if I... Test. I just sent a chat message out with Restream. Okay. Showing up as me in Twitch. And still, I do not know how to check my YouTube chat. Must be a way. Yeah, showing up. It's all working. I guess all that remains is something to talk about. Well, let's think. How long ago was the last stream? This will be interesting to find out. I think I have a scene here set up to show things. Let's see if that's right. Okay. Let's see if we can just zero in on one window here. Oh boy, he's got a lot of windows open apparently. Does that work? Seems like it's working. Okay, so let's see. So the question is, how long has it been since we streamed? I believe on the channel I have 1,000 subscriber Q&A 2 years ago. Holy shit. Here we go. Twitch streams. Hobgoblin and the Drow 2 years ago, August 26th, 2023. Yeah, yeah. I believe it was right after this stream that I stopped. I remember it was a week before my birthday. I was turning 40. In this bottom, I'm uh, wearing a shirt for the barbershop group that I joined earlier that year. It was a big part of the equation for me. I was playing a dwarven bard, but I remember the last few sessions I had playing this game. Oh, I always get some enjoyment. I got some enjoyment out of playing these games, of course, just like we all do, and I would if I did now too. But what changed was I had an experience of going away to kind of like a convention for barbershop music. And the result of that was that I got to sense in a bigger, more visceral, more embodied way the sense of connection that I was craving in life and that I've been acting out in the gaming world for a while and recognized that as much as I had enjoyed streaming and playing games, I just needed to step away from all that, see what else there was. And that's what we've been doing for the last 2 years and change. Life has really changed. You know, it's funny. A lot of my old videos, you look at me and you can see a huge physical change. I'm definitely a little heavier in this, but not a lot. Maybe like 30, 40 pounds on me that I don't have anymore. Something like that. Anyway, we answered the question. We answered the self-proposed question. Had the thought maybe I should promote myself social media. Always had a distaste for doing so. I can't log into my Twitter account anymore. Oh, maybe I can. Twitter. Okay. Oh, I don't know. I feel like silly promoting myself. Where would I even do it? Well, how should we use our time together? If I were me and I was looking for some perspective 5 years ago, what would I watch? Watch a man with a story. I don't know. Yo, Mill Sim Prodigy. Chat's working. Hey, man. Shit, it's good to hear from you. Are you talking to me on YouTube? You must be. I don't know. Chat showing up somewhere. That's what matters. Dude, how are you? Holy shit, how long has it been? Coors or Coke? Yeah, I'm an addict. I am still a diet soda addict. I wonder if the restream causes much of an additional delay here. Couple years, maybe not that long. Couple years. A lot can go down in a couple years. A lot has. How have your 2 years been, brother? Hope they've been treating you well. Mostly working. How are your knees holding up? Same old, same old. Yeah, the time goes by, man. It's getting to be, I'm starting to feel pretty old. Remember when I turned 40, I was like, what happened? Well, I just turned 42, and I'm like, it's happening. It is happening. Devoid of cartilage, but get you by. God, that sounds painful. Sounds rough. We're all carrying something, some kind of ailment. I just got out of the hospital. Had a very well, fun's not the right word for it. Maybe exciting? A very exciting hospital adventure about 4 weeks ago. You'll be 39. Spring chicken. So that means that you're converging on 40, just like I was not too long ago. How do you feel about the big 40? You know, I remember when I was a kid, um, my dad's 40th birthday, and I was like, man, that's old. That is old. I don't know how anyone gets to be that old. I couldn't imagine what it'd be like to live for more than 2 decades beyond what I'd already lived. And then I went home for the holidays just a few weeks ago, visit my folks, and dad said he's turning 70. I can't believe that either. You avoid thinking about it, it'll just happen. Yeah, sometimes it's good not to fixate on these things. Did you say flu? Did I say flu? I don't think I said flu. I didn't mean to anyway. You still playing, is it Battlefield? There's a new Battlefield that came out, right? I have no idea what PlanetSide's doing. It seems like every once in a while I'll check it on the subreddit. It seems like it's still struggling along. You think about your parents when they were 40. Where's that thought lead you? When my parents were 40, they had 4 kids. Had a big old house, single income, different world. Battlefield 6, PlanetSide, you haven't touched since October 24. Haven't done any videos since March. Since March. Did YouTube stop recommending your videos to me? I feel like it's been longer than that since I've seen anything of yours. YouTube is so uh it remains like my one place of social media errors where I tend to overconsume, but it has like this goldfish memory. Any kind of new interest becomes the one thing that they'll show me. Let me see. I think I have this set up to show things. Me like creaking through the stream setup here is one of the things that makes me feel quite old. I have this sense of like I have this like it, you know, like when you were a kid and you watch your parents struggle with technology, and you're just like, it's like embarrassing. I'm noticing that I'm on the other side of that embarrassment. Don't know what to do with that feeling exactly. Okay. Okay, now this should be showing how to win at anything. Yeah, yeah, okay. Okay, Alex. Milsim Prodigy. Shitters don't live in reality. Amen. Connery Emerald merge. It happened. That one passed me by. Now is I think I did see this video. One of you dogging on Rel. Yeah, I guess when you stop being involved with those communities, there's not. It doesn't make sense to keep talking about nanoweave and these things. You had a friend ask you if you would do a post-mortem on some recent video someone had done, and you responded your entire library was a post-mortem of a game. Yeah. You ever think about selling your content to an algorithm? Make a Lex bot people can talk to, get based opinions on tactical military shooters. AI is just... A year ago, I was still trying not to pay attention to it, but it's gotten to the point where I can't not. Actually, AI named this stream. Or it helped me find a name anyway. Haven't done anything in a while, so you're sure you're out of the algorithm. You watch them do it now, and you get to help them, and it's rewarding. Sick of AI. What were you referring to when you said you watch them do it and it's rewarding? I said so many little things. Like I have said so many little things. I'm not sure what that's in response to. I'm noticing in your later videos that you shave the facial hair. I'm gonna have a look at you. You still rocking the clean shaven look? Oh, look at that. Look at that man. That's a man who knows what he's talking about. Oh, parents with their phones. It's very sweet. No, I can imagine you doing that actually. I can imagine you doing that. I had an experience like that over the holidays with my dad. It was actually one of my favorite memories of the whole time I was there. Where where he had a problem with his computer, and the way he described it, I think it's like when you're a car mechanic and you ask someone to describe what's wrong with their car, they're like, well, "Can you make the sound?" And they go, "Woo woo woo" or something, and it's just like, no car makes that sound. He was describing a computer problem to me. I was like, that doesn't make any sense, because the whole Windows 10 to 11 thing is happening, and he decided to upgrade his PC to Windows 11, and did. And after the upgrade, his speakers were continually making a doo-doo, 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 the USB like connect and disconnect sound. And I kind of didn't believe him when he described it to me. It's like, yeah, okay. But I sat down and looked at it, and when I did, I was going over there for the night with my wife. We were, of course, there together, staying at an Airbnb, and I actually ended up having to do a lot of work over the holiday. So I was working from the Airbnb during the day, then going over in the evenings to spend time with family. So long day, working in technical technology. I get over there, have a little dinner with my folks, and after that, it's usually time to sit on the couch, hang out, read, or maybe play a family game or something. Dad's like, "Can you help me with my computer?" And I was like, okay, Dad. It's getting late. But it's like a Friday or something, so it's like whatever. My brother too, who's the one who built the PC, was hanging out, and I could tell he didn't want to deal with it. He did not want to deal with it. But I was like, okay, Dad, let's have a look at this. Sure enough, I sat down, and he was right. It was constantly making that USB doo doo two tone sound, And I was like, oh no, we gotta fix this. This is not this is not something anyone can live with. Um, and spent like an hour and a half troubleshooting it, trying to figure out what it was and updating a bunch of drivers, the way you do, and going through like the Windows Event Manager and thinking that had something to do with like what do we think had something to do with? I can't remember what it was that we were going down a false path that we didn't know was false at the time. And then my brother, I get up to like go to the bathroom or something. And my brother, his name is Steve. Steve gets up and has a look at it, and he notices that the system tray, the little USB like eject things, popping in and out of existence. And I come back and we look at it and we realize, oh, it's Bluetooth related. Of course, it's Bluetooth related. Windows desktops hate Bluetooth. So we just go into Device Manager and we disable the Bluetooth device, and the sound stops. And that's how we left his situation. He's got a pair of Bluetooth speakers that aren't going to work for him until um, you just disable all Windows sounds. That might have been a simpler way of doing it, but also like the device constantly popping in and out and flooding the event viewer. I don't know. It just seemed like a bad situation. So we disabled the Bluetooth. This other funny moment in the evening happened too. And I'm prattling on. Probably that's what you came here for. But where so we realized it's Bluetooth. We're like, okay, Dad. So your speakers might not work, but your headphones are gonna work. He's like, my headphones are Bluetooth. And I was looking at them, and they've got like a cable coming out of them, goes into the computer. And I was like, I don't think that's right, Dad. And he's like, no, it's plugged in, it's charging. And I was like, um, so if you unplug the cable, can you still hear things through it? And he looked at me like he'd never thought of it. Anyway, it's plugged in via microphone jack. I guess it has Bluetooth capability, but he's been using it wired, basically since he bought it, and um, thought it was Bluetooth. Love you, Dad. Okay, I'm catching up on chat. Yeah, but the bullet went to 11 like 3 years ago. I haven't really used my PC much for anything other than work in the last couple of years. So, but also like I'm kind of used to using versions of Windows past their support window. I don't know. I'm I have no place for a gaming PC in my life right now. In fact, it's looking like uh, Elise and I. Elise is my wife. We've been married for coming up on 2 months now. Anyway, we're we're fixing to move in the next couple months, and I'm thinking that the gaming PC is just gonna go to storage probably. I don't imagine anyone would want to buy it from me. A 7-year-old gaming computer. Your dad got a newer truck, and you had to connect his phone to it. Showed him Spotify and blew his mind. Newer vehicles and their integration with phones is one of the coolest things ever. I remember when I leased a new car. I guess this would have been back in like 2018ish, maybe 2017, and realized I could plug it into my phone and it would like it's awesome. And then I didn't realize this was a thing, but I um, was in Victoria on my honeymoon just before Thanksgiving. It's Victoria, British Columbia, and was renting a car because we were there without a vehicle and to get out of town for a day. And they had wireless Android Auto, and that blew my mind. Um, of course, that's a thing. Um, Apparently, my car doesn't know how to do it, but some do. He's never had a vehicle with any Bluetooth navigation or anything like that. Yeah. For me, one of the funny things about that technology, um, I remember when Tesla first blew up, and there are so many Teslas in the Seattle area, so many, or like a hub, and I always had this impression whenever I would see a Tesla come in like across the intersection that I was looking at someone sitting at their desk. Something about like the dash and the screen, it just looked like I was like I guess it's from working at a lot of tech companies where it's just a bunch of people sitting at tables in front of laptops with monitors. And I had the impression that they were sitting in front of their laptop and they had their monitor off to the side. And this funny impression that they were just going down the road with their desk. And a lot of cars have copied that big screen setup. Working from car. I don't know, it's a funny impression. He's funny to me. So you were saying that they put Emerald on Connery. So it's a bitch session. Oh, that's good. That would be good for me. Good for me out here on the West Coast. Ooh, that must have destroyed the Emerald culture because so much of it was based on folks from Europe logged it in, especially the late night culture, right? That's kind of a bummer. Would I would have more thought that it likely that they would merge Connery onto Emerald. That's kind of a surprising decision by me. Maybe it's just because Connery is closer to San Diego. I don't know. You once didn't buy a brand of truck because it has the knob transmission drive selector. Oh, my car has one of those. It's kind of funny. It tripled everyone's ping and all the Connery latency stuff came back. Ouch. Ouch. Yeah, Connery was hurting for a long time, right? And they fixed it, I guess. Yeah, I don't really remember that stuff very well. I don't know. Well, Emerald made it. Was Emerald itself the product of early server merges? I think that it was, right? I was just going to say that Emerald made it however many years, but I'm not sure if it was a. I guess I don't really know. They didn't fix it. Everyone just stopped playing there. Sad. From what little I've gleaned, it seems like the game's development has been getting passed around quite a bit in the last few years. I don't know if that's right, just an impression. Like I have no idea who's making the game. Emerald was Matheson and Watterson merged. That's what I'm vaguely recollecting. I'm trying to remember how much of an MMO gamer you were or are. You did the classic WoW thing for a little. I remember talking with you about it. You were really into DPS Warrior, right? Trying to tie back stream title to the discussion in some kind of way. You know, I do have a completely earnest desire to just connect with you and other folks I've gotten to meet along this strange journey, but I'm not really too sure what the thrust of the thing is that I'm even attempting. I took a guess with the stream title, meaning after MMOs, but no, it's laying it on a little thick, I think. You came back and did a stint in a speedrun guild. That sounds like it would be, yeah. I think I remember you telling me about that. My ambient Skyrim video, I mean, Oblivion video is coming to an end. Ambient music is about all I listen to anymore. My life has gotten so quiet. Actually, I would love to play some stuff in the background, but I don't want to deal with copyright crap, so Elder Scrolls music has always been safe. Haven't really gone back since they never really did a classic refresh, just kept going and going to expansions you weren't interested in. There must be an audience for that stuff, otherwise they wouldn't have done it, right? At least that's what I'm supposing. Man, I was thinking earlier today when I was anticipating getting on this stream, I was thinking about like in the last few years of gaming when I was really just like I don't know, I was really oscillating. I really was trying to find it or recapture it, but 95% of the time I wasn't. I asked myself, what were some of the times where it did get recaptured? And I think that the 0 to 60 leveling process when WoW Classic first came out was absolutely one of those back in 19. I think that New World, for the first week that it was after it was released, gave me that feeling. And I think that what else? There are moments in particularly Planetside community when I was doing the podcast and streaming. There were moments where that felt really like what I was trying to get to. In fact, I'm still trying to get to that. I'm just doing it offline. I'm still trying for that very thing, that sense of connection and meaningful engagement. Something about coming up against the limitations of these digital worlds over and over and over again, and finding the found quality of the games just evaporates so quickly because players' abilities to consume, master, and then communicate about optimal strategies so far outpaces these games' ability to retain any sense of, I want to use the word mystery, but that's the quality of life, right? You can't consume it all at once. You can't really maybe just bound it. Just the out of bounds box is a lot bigger. Still trying to sign Cody Bellinger too. Wait, hang on. Baseball. Hang on, you're an Orioles fan, right? Am I remembering that right? I think I remember you saying you lived in the Baltimore or DC area. How goes my memory? Wonder. Yeah. Yeah, Mystery and Wonder. I think they're coupled. I think they are. I think it's like two different experiences of the same thing. It's like the same kind of pieces of life experiencing you through different facets of yourself, you know? Anyway, while you're confirming if you're an Orioles fan or not, I'm gonna go get my Orioles hat that I bought. Yeah. And if you are an Orioles fan, you gotta tell me if I bought the right hat, because there are far too many choices. And if I'm wrong about all this, I'm gonna feel very silly. You are a Baltimore guy. Okay, got it. Um, so I was out in Baltimore for work at the end of August, and it just so happened that I had an afternoon between my work meetings and my flight back to the West Coast. So I got to squeeze in 9 innings at Camden Yards, which was just delightful. See if I can find those pictures. What the hell do I have that for? It's because I went to Camden Yards in August. And I bought a hat while I was there. Look, you seen my head? This is not a head that can withstand the August sun of any climate. Henry! Yo! What is up, man? Oh, brother, it's good to see you. We're just talking about baseball. And also the wonderment of the world. Okay, here's my pictures from the Baltimore trip. Can I show this to you without showing you anything embarrassing? I think I can. I think I can. Okay. So that's the hotel. This is me with my coworkers. A couple local boys. And this is me out on, um, shoot, what's that street? Utah Street, right? Utah Street. Henry, I don't know if you're a baseball guy, but Camden Yards, whenever a ball player hits a home run, hits the ball out of the stadium onto Utah Street, they put a little baseball plaque down. This is me enjoying a steady Eddie. I love this picture. I bought this entirely because, well, I mean, I wanted a drink, but I just love this. I love this steady Eddie. It's a medevac chopper that went by a couple times. Paul O'Neill. I was looking for Paul O'Neill's bomb. It took me a little while to find it. And that's me pointing at the ball that I think it was a Griffey hit onto the building across the way. Yeah, that's this guy. Not much else to see. How are you, Henry? Late night for you, right? I'm so pleased that this chat is working as well as it is. I remember when I was looking into it a few years ago that I always thought that the restream stuff was very buggy looking, but it's outside of the fact that it can't seem to title my streams, it's been pretty smooth. Do the plaque every time. Every time a baseball is hit out of the stadium, which is not very often, not very often. But you walk on the street, and it's like they call it Utah Street. I mean, maybe it once was a street. It's really just like it's like a, it's a part of the stadium that's outside the it's behind the bleachers. And it's kind of cleared out. Um, so there's not cars on it or anything. You just woke up. Well, good morning to you, or good evening to you. I guess you don't have to wake up in the morning. I think in some sense it's morning anytime you wake up. I think in some sense that's the case. No right-handed hitter has ever hit a ball out there in any regular season game. Really? No right-handed hitter. I think Aaron Judge is probably going to play at least what? Probably another 50 games in Baltimore, I would guess. No, that might be overestimating. How many games do you play in the same division team ballpark in a given year? Like maybe 8 or 9? Pete Alonso says he wants to be the first. Did Pete sign with Baltimore? Oh man, haven't you guys had enough of big slow first baseman? I guess that's sort of the meme for at first base. It's what you do. Emery, there's been a little sunshine, so it doesn't really matter what time you get up. Fair enough. Are you like um shoot, I know you've told me this before, and I'm embarrassed I don't remember. But did you tell me you lived in Sweden? Is that right? Last month, Pete signed. Good for him. Did he get a good contract? Pete Alonso signs with Baltimore. 150. Seems like a good deal for him. How old is he? Like 29, 30? Alonso, the Mets' all-time home run leader. Doesn't that put a frown on your face? Era of free agency. Finland. Oh shit. I knew I was gonna screw that up. Downtownish Helsinki. Cool. Is Helsinki a cool town? I've never visited any part of Scandinavia. It's one thing that I want to fix at some point. I have no plans to do so, but so is there like a rivalry between Swedes and Finns that I need to know about? How old is Pete Alonso? Baseball reference. Now. He only had 3 WAR and change last year. 38 dingers. 871 OPS. Hard to argue with that. He is. He's going to his age 31 year. Yeah, 5-year deal. Good for him. Let's see. How many dingers is Pete gonna hit? Doesn't seem very likely he's gonna get to 500, does it? Wow, he really hit 53 out his rookie year. That's badass. Finland has rivalry with Sweden. Sweden and Norway have the mutual rivalry. So, Sweden and Norway are they have a mutually agreed upon rivalry between each other, but the Swedes are not aware of a rivalry with Finland. Is that what I'm getting? Like, What's the origin of the one-sided rivalry, I wonder? Mets didn't even offer him a contract. Steve, man. That hurts. Good for Pete. I don't know, he might not even have to move his family. Just going from New York to Baltimore. But yeah, I do check on. I don't know why, because I hardly ever. I don't know why, but I just sort of compulsively check the Yankees subreddit. In fact, if I go into my Chrome window and I type in R for Reddit, it's going to autocomplete to the Yankees subreddit. See? I must check this at least 3, 5 times a week. And the thing is, all last year, I didn't watch a single 9 inning game. I got the MLB TV. I got it for free for the regular season because of I'm a T-Mobile customer, and they have a promotion, or they had one last year. And then I also bought, I don't know, some streaming TV service to watch the playoffs. And um, golly, watching the Yankees lose sucked. Um, it always sucks. But watching the Mariners lose was actually kind of harder because um, of Cal's season and because uh, I'm just in Mariners land and a cool memory actually. Uh, a cool memory for Mariners postseason playoffs. So if you look out my window, it's kind of hard to tell. Like, see if I can. Y'all can hear me, but the mic just obscured the view. Can y'all hear this? Okay. So if you look at that, like, kind of purplish spot right there, that's the Ferris wheel on the waterfront in downtown Seattle. Ferris wheel, waterfront. And if you go just this way a little bit, T-Mobile Park is like right here. And from my place now, we have line of sight to it. And the I remember my wife and I just gotten back from something. I don't know what we were doing, something late, and we had the windows open to cool down the apartment, and we heard like a "Rah!" like the sound of a lot of like loud voices off in the distance, like there's some kind of parade or riot or something. And then a few minutes later, on my phone, I get the MLB YouTube like Cal Raleigh hits his 60th home run. So we heard in real time from across the water the crowd roar from his 60th home run. It's such a so cool to have experienced that. But yeah, I'm enjoying this place while it lasts because we are moving somewhere cheaper very soon. Seattle is expensive. Um, Henry, Finland were kind of the forced people for the Swedes, I guess. It is a really great view. You've been down there. Where'd you go, Lex? You go to Pike Place Market? Do I have any pictures of T-Mobile Park? Let me see if I can find you some better pictures of the view. Oh, here's one from. I was gonna say this is from today because it looks just like a picture I took today, but this is not a picture from today. What am I talking about? Let me share my screen. Yeah, okay. So here's a picture. Looking out of this exact window, actually. You can see the Space Needle in downtown Seattle. On the left is Queen Anne Hill. Let's see if I can find. Yeah, the crazy thing about this view is you can see like 2 or 3 different kinds of weather happening. at any given time. It's just wild. Let's see if I can find another good one. Took a good one just this morning, actually. Um, he spent a day in Seattle in 2016, downtown on a duck tour, out in the water. Oh yeah. Okay, so here's like a little time. This is from this morning. So I got up before the sun rose to go out for a walk. That just kind of clears my head before the workday. Now I'm back at my apartment, and the sun's just starting to come up. There's the Space Needle. So this view, where T-Mobile Park is kind of over here. I need to get some kind of an overlay to make my cursor bigger. Actually, I think Macs have something like that by default, don't they? And you can see as the sun is coming up, just insane. Wow, I like that one. Like a painting, except for the building tops and shit down here. Yeah. Yeah, I live in a really beautiful place. Really blessed. But, you know, I um moved in with my girl a little under a year ago, which is why our 12-month lease is coming up. And we both work, and we thought when we lived here that bringing together our finances was going to make things a little. Well, we thought that we were a little more optimistic about the financial picture of our household than things ended up being. We're okay, but like we'd like to be a lot better. So we're looking for creative ways to kind of lower our cost of living. It was a lot more hilly than you would imagine. It just snowed recently. Yes, Seattle is very hilly. In downtown, there's basically no flat surfaces outside the buildings. Kind of a wild thing to to notice. No one really talks about it. Actually, for the wedding, which happened back in November, and winters here are wet and gray and just kind of rainy. Not like torrential rain, just kind of annoying rain. And my folks rented out an Airbnb just a few blocks away from our apartment. Beautiful house. Um, but I didn't really tell them about the hills because I just sort of they become invisible to you when you live around them all the time. And they were definitely surprised and a little alarmed and not happy driving on those hills. Actually, they when they got here, they rented a minivan and they ended up returning it to get an SUV because they're like, yeah, we almost got stuck on a hill, so not so much with that. Everything was built on this side of the hill, the whole city. Everything was wet and damp. Yep, you got the Seattle experience. That's pretty much the thing. Yeah, this is a beautiful part of town that we're in. It's a neighborhood called Magnolia. Look it up. It's really close to the city, but it has a set aside feeling, um, which means it's kind of expensive to live here. There's like no fast food places. Like there's a little village with like a bookstore and a gas station and some restaurants. I guess there is a Starbucks. That's about as corporate as the food. And there's a Subway kind of lurking there somewhere. Um, but it's a really nice place, and the whole western part of the Isle is a big park called Discovery Park, which is beautiful. I haven't gotten out there in a long time, partly because of the short days, partly because of the lousy weather, and partly because I've just been incredibly busy. Is Seattle being exceptionally rainy a real thing? Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. Um, I learned actually that it would be a lot rainier here if it weren't for the big old mountain range to the west of us between the ocean and all of this. That does a big job of making things not as rainy. And in fact, if you go east of Seattle into like central and eastern Washington, it's very dry because we have the Olympics, then Seattle, and then the Cascade Mountains. So we're kind of sandwiched between them. Part of what makes Seattle so beautiful is you can just drive for half a day and be like in mountains. Beautiful place. And but yeah, Seattle's rainy. How's it compare to Helsinki? Let's look it up. Let's do my favorite thing and talk to an AI. Compare annual rainfall of Helsinki versus Seattle versus Baltimore. Cover all of our bases. Annual precipitation comparison. Looks like Baltimore gets more rain. We have Oh, interesting. Actually, Helsinki actually has less rain but more wet days. So it's even more Seattle-like than Seattle. Huh. No, 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 no. I'm interested. I'm glad you asked. Haven't we had a ton of rain lately? I mean, it has been a little unseasonably rainy, just anecdotally. I haven't looked at numbers or anything, but I do have the sense that's been the case. I mean, in Seattle, you kind of learn to ignore it. And it's also sort of the culture here. Like, it's funny. You go into Seattle and it's raining and no one's got umbrellas. Um, I think because we get used to rain being mostly an inconvenience and not really a danger because it doesn't really rain that hard very often. And even when it does, people just like "Grr." You get everything in clumps. Some months you get nothing at all. Coffee. Ooh, maybe I'll get a cup of decaf. Coffee sounds kind of good. Sounds kind of good. Well, here's some more information. Seattle's rainfall is highly seasonal, with a significant dry period in late summer and very wet winters, whereas Baltimore's precipitation is relatively consistent year round. Helsinki has its wettest month in August and its driest period during the spring months of March through May. It's the opposite of Seattle. Seattle known for persistent light drizzle. Well, one of the big things I've gotten into since not playing games anymore is started taking my reading hobby a bit more seriously. You got anything you're working on, Lex? Any books you're working your way through? I'm presuming Henry's still getting his coffee. Excuse me. Huh. Interesting. Well, it seems like the way that YouTube does, I'm not YouTube, Restream does the chat, is I have like a separate chat in each place. So the folks on Twitch are hearing me respond to y'all, but they don't see what you're saying. Maybe that means I should get like a chat overlay that combines them. Maybe I'll look into that for next week. Well, what am I doing with myself? Maybe I can look into this right now. Um, let's see. Must be a restream chat. What book did I have there? Oh, Henry, you did see it. This is The Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin. I think I'm saying her name right. It's a science fiction, a book all about a man between two worlds. It's been on my reading list for a long time, and I finally used the holidays, my excuse to just kind of jump into this. This is actually a book that actually my mother-in-law got me for my birthday this past year. It's very sweet of her. I took the note she wrote and I put it inside the cover so I can revisit it. I'm becoming sentimental in my old age. Is the book any good? Yeah, it's good. I was about to say it's not what I expected, but I'm not really sure if I could enumerate my expectations. Um, I've just come out of a binge of reading a whole bunch of an author named Gene Wolfe, who has a very particular way of writing that I dearly love. And so I've been trying to find stuff that is similar to or scratches that kind of similar itch to the writing he does. And Ursula is one of the ones who comes up. Um, I do enjoy it. It is often good, and it is at times quite resounding. Uh, but it is not. It ain't Gene Wolfe. I got another book over the holidays off of my wish list from one of my siblings, so I can find it. Oops. There goes my banana. Gravity's Rainbow. This is like it's like kinetic. I'm really excited to open this. I mean, I have opened it and sampled it. It's wild. Got a lot of books for Christmas, and I love that. Y'all doing any reading? I've also got a couple of reading projects of mine. I just finished reading this over my honeymoon, Canticle for Leibowitz, and between the honeymoon and the holidays, I finally finished the Iliad. This took me all year to read, and you can start to see my style of notation here. So I have some homework where I need to go through and notate Canticle and the last half of Iliad, where I mean, I'm basically just going through and underlining stuff, especially with the poetry because it's so hard to read. Underlining it means I can go back and quickly see what's going on. And when it's something I think that is important to revisit, I'll make a little note in the margin, usually a little acronym for the character's name. And then when I make that note in the margin, I'll put a little mark on the edge of the page so that I can see where they are. Henry, you tried to read Armada during the summer, but it's basically just nostalgia slop. Same author as Ready Player One, the one they made a movie out of. You get halfway through. Did you like Ready Player One? I found that it was not to my taste, and kind of along similar lines to your critique to Armada, my experience. I know a lot of people have loved that though. Is it Ernest Klein? Is that who wrote that? And the last little book project is that I have uh, this Revelations of Divine Love by the very first Western woman to have had her words recorded in a book, um, a religious recluse. I read the short version of her revelations on the flight um, out to visit my folks. And I need to go back and spend a little more time with it to kind of absorb it. But there's some beautiful stuff in here. Beautiful stuff. Movies, easy nostalgia, easily forgettable. That was my read on it too. Just kind of felt like it was kind of it was too indulgent without having much to say really. Trying to find one specific quote from the Revelations here. I always hesitate to share this stuff because heavily religious language turns folks off from time to time. But it's such a cool sentiment. It's a encouragement to take our foibles and failures lightly, um, and kind of reflecting, whether you call it God or the universe or the force, whatever you want to call it. It created all that is, and also created us, creatures that fail and suffer and hurt others. So, and ourselves. And there's some comfort in knowing that. I don't know. It's part of it. I've been going through a lot of recognition in my life very recently, seeing how very much not in alignment I am with the good in many ways. One of those ways is the impetus is what's causing this exploration of a lower cost of living life. I guess getting married puts things into perspective. Um, it made writing a successful book seem like something even you could do. That's kind of a really wonderful compliment to pay. That someone could write something that felt so grabbable, um, that you felt like you could even grip the pen yourself. You do much writing? I mean, you're acquainted with my writing that I do on the Substack. Failing is built in on purpose. That's the feeling. Because you're interested in it, I want to look back, see if I can find it. um, Here it is. Oh shoot! I just tore the page. Holy crap! I gave this. So whenever there's a quote that I like, I always mark it with a plus sign. This has two pluses, which means I really like it. So beware, uh, Christian language is about to appear. What is everything on earth that divides us from God? I answer and say, in that it serves us, it is good, and in it shall perish, it is baseness. And in that a man sets his heart upon it in any other way than this, it is sin. And while a man or woman loves sin, if there be any such, he is in pain that surpasses all pains. And when he does not love sin, but hates it and loves God, all is well. And he who truly does this, though he may sometimes sin through frailty or ignorance in his will, he does not fall, for he wishes to rise again strongly and behold God, whom he loves with all his will. God has caused himself to be loved by him or her who has been a sinner. But he loves continually and he longs continually to have our love. And I just think that is one of the most beautiful things that I have read in a long time. You have a lot of thoughts you'd like to put in writing, but ultimately the linear process is a struggle. Brother, I hear you. Writing is so difficult. Folks don't understand. And by the way, if you're tuning into this on Twitch and you're wondering who I'm talking to, I apologize. I am streaming to YouTube as well, and that's where folks are talking to me. Next time I turn the stream on, I should have something where you can see the YouTube chat. But it's my first time doing this in a couple years, and I'm a little out of practice. Um, but I just love that God has caused himself to be loved by him or her who's been a sinner. It's very heartening. But that same sentiment you just shared, Henry, is what got me to sit down and do the writing in the first place. And you can see I've tried a bunch of different things. Now I'm currently in this groove with this dear friend idea, which I started purely because I needed a convention to loosen things up. I could feel the thing trying to come out, and it just wasn't coming out. And I just sort of had this intuition one time because I wrote something that I kind of liked. I think it was maybe the first one of these I did. I wrote something I kind of liked, but it came out kind of jagged, kind of like too punchy, or more punchy than I wanted it to be. I thought, what if I wrote this like I was writing it to a friend, and here we are. We'll see how long that kind of writing makes sense to me, but in my heart, I want to write not only I'm loving the pattern of the weekly letters, and I can see a future point where if I keep doing it and growing the habit, that I might eventually get to a point where I have enough of those letters to put something into, I don't know, like a little book or pamphlet or something to share with folks. But in addition to the writing, the weekly writing, squeezing in the little YouTube walking video every week, and this new thing that I want to get back into, I also want to start doing more ambitious writing pieces. And I'm not sure exactly what they're going to be like, but I think they might be explorations of some of the reading. And I'm anticipating, I don't know, maybe this is a YouTube video. Um, Maybe this is a written piece. I don't know. I'm just kind of talking through the books that I read in 2025. it works on multiple levels. You're talking about the dear friend convention. That was that's my feeling with it. Because sometimes when I sit down with a problem I'm really dealing with, and actually, especially for the last few letters, my personal negative emotions have been really dominating the focus of the writing. But sometimes I sit down with like a situation going on in the world or someone I know, and I have that in my heart that I'm writing to. But always I want to have that ambiguity of like, is am I really writing about my friend? Am I really writing about myself? Um, I think it's good to have things be a little unclear at the edges. I think it's good. Yeah, I can show you a little bit of my writing process if you want. There's not really much to see. I a while like back in I guess this was the summer. Back in the summer, I got really entranced with these note-taking systems and software as it exists. Um, like this idea of having personal knowledge systems where you can like write yourself little articles and things and link them together like a personal Wikipedia or something. I thought I was going to use it to document my reading and my impressions, and I eventually got to a point with it where I realized that every single note I was taking was already up here, and putting it on the page didn't change this. I mean, as long as I'm already in the habit of writing and speaking and sharing, then the idea gets developed. And by sitting down and recording it, especially recording facts and notes, I didn't enrich me. Friend from the reader perspective also defaults to the reader, but it's obvious it's kind of fluctuates throughout the texts. I hope that fluctuation is a graceful one. Um, I was going to share with you my I guess this is sort of like my writing desk from a digital perspective. So I'm streaming from my laptop. It's a MacBook. It is. That's such a comfort to hear. Let's see if I can find. Yeah, that should be showing up, and you can see it's a very simple like text editor. Here's a piece I'm working on right now. I don't know if this is actually going to be what gets published on Monday. Might be I sit down tomorrow and end up writing something different. But you can see I've got everything that I've written here. And this is where I sit down and do the writing, and then I copy it into Substack when I think it's ready to publish. This is the piece I wrote last week. I'm really happy with this piece. This really captured something for me. Um, and I had this fragment section, which is like stuff that I started and abandoned. Some of these are kind of long. Here's this lack of urgency article. Look at this. This is like almost 1,500 words, and I just never published it. I think that my sense of style changed after I wrote it. Have an opportunity to go back and redevelop it into something that I like better. But I don't know. I mean, obviously, I've been through a personal transformation journey. Um, but there's something about like talking about that journey in terms of in specific diagnostic terms. It's really tempting to do because it's so good for SEO. It's so good for transparency, but it's not actually the way I think about things, and it's not actually the way I thought about things when I was solving those problems either. Um, so it lacks a certain ingenuity. Ingenuousness? Ingenuity? No, ingenuity means like cleverness, right? I guess disingenuous means not earnest. So ingenuous must mean earnest. That's what I was trying to get to. What else do I have in this sort of fragments area? A little bit of poetry I started and didn't know what to do with. Despair. An honest friend waits in the dark. He will not find you when you are busy, when you are needed, when you are distracted. He waits for the quiet moments when there are no words, when the weight of the wind is heavy and darkness is all about you, when grief takes your breath away and with it goes the life you thought you had. His name is despair. And then, like, a more prose approach down here at the bottom. Oh, that might be okay to publish. It's not bad. Leave the city. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Ah, this look again is a note when I was thinking I was going to do more writing about my reading. It is oof. Oh, are you commenting on the poem? That's good enough to publish. This is when I was reading. I would grab it, but it's actually in the bookshelf in the living room out there. Uh, when I was reading Gene Wolfe and trying to understand the third of his major anthologies, called Book of the Short Sun, and it's just so. The thing about Gene Wolfe that's so magical is that it's almost impossible to completely understand it as you're reading it. Um, in the same way that it's impossible to fully understand like a novel situation, like that you actually like if you got dumped into a city street out of nowhere wearing strange clothes, it's like that feeling of bewilderment is right there in the writing. And not in like a gravitic way, like in Gravity's Rainbow, but in like a more of a quiet way. And it invites this it invites this like feeling of look again. Like you looked at it, and it's not so much about like rereading it, although that can be. It's more like revisit what you thought happened through the lens of what proceeds to happen. And when you do that, it's like, oh, wait a second. Start to see things. It makes it so rich. That one's good to publish. Kappa, Kappa. Kappa's like a streamer thing, right? Pain thousandfold. Here's a dear friend that didn't get published. Oh, I was trying to write about Homer. Yeah, the writing about books is something I haven't figured out how to. It might be that the book stuff is more YouTube. It might be that the writing. It might be that the writing needs to be more creative and less descriptive for me. Poetry comes out. The dear friend stuff comes out. The dividing line. This is me trying to write about Gene Wolfe. Half of these fragments are just me trying to write about the reading that's affecting me and not finding it. Not finding it. Another one. This is another one. True fiction. Gene. Ungiven. Oof. Part of the reason I didn't publish this is because it was a little too personal at the time. Wonder if you can figure out what this is about. Probably you can't. I think it's too vague. This is okay. This one's called Ungiven. Oh, it's a Twitch. You're kidding me. Oh, that's what Kappa means. Oh, you must have been dogging on one of the other ones that. Yeah. Uh, so I'll read this real quick, and then we can pick up stakes from this little exploration. Ungiven. The gift ungiven. The wish unspoken. The dream still sleeps. I have been here before, and it was altogether different. Long for that ride, I would not, could not, put my hand on the wheel. It turned of itself, and I, wishing peace with it, made its turn mine. A whole life grew out of it, a whole love, a love that I left in the dust. I put my hand on the wheel, my foot on the accelerator. Gas. Now I feel the bumps differently. My hands twitch in correction, and then are reminded to steady. To be lovable is to be steady. Hand on the wheel and hearts throwing hazards. I drive. I was feeling a lot of things when I wrote that. I think part of the reason I didn't publish it is because it's just a little too unfocused. But I don't know. Anyway, so that's like a little look into the writing world, into the sort of crumpled up papers of my experience. For whatever it is worth. But yeah, these are some of the things that I've gotten up to. Oh, you know what? Are we coming up on 2 hours? I think we are. Oh no, we still got 20 minutes. Okay. I think we're gonna finish up here in about 13-ish minutes. I don't want to be. I've been out the last couple nights and haven't gotten to see my wife very much, and she's very graciously un, encouraging me to do this. So it's really wonderful to have someone who really sees you in your life. I'm so blessed. But I want to make sure I don't push it too, because there's a lot of life going on. It's a shame to miss each other. Have I considered writing fiction? Not really. The idea kind of intimidates me. And I'm not sure I have any muse speaking to me about what I would want to do with the story. I suppose I can give it a shot. I think I would enjoy it more than doing descriptive writing. Hmm. I will have to think about that. I think part of the intimidation is that I read a lot of fiction, and it would be very uncomfortable to write something that I liked a lot less than what I'm reading, which is, of course, exactly what would happen because I'm uh, I am but a learner. When you were saying that a thing was too prescriptive, it seemed like you still need to write it. You could give those thoughts to a character. Hmm. I suppose I could try writing like little vignettes, like little scenes that tell a small story as like a I could sort of imagine doing that, almost like Flannery O'Connor style, where she writes these very short parable-like stories. Huh. I'm gonna have to noodle on that, Henry. That's a fine notion. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to think about that one. So you were saying that you did not like uh, Ernest Cline's book. What kind of books have you enjoyed, recent or not? What's to your taste? I'm curious to learn about what you like to read other than my silly musings. You're really bad at reading, but you're trying. Huh. Do you mind if I ask why you think you're bad at it? And if you don't want to answer, that's okay. You don't have to. But I'm curious about it because I've felt that many times myself, and I've gone long periods of time where I've done little to no reading at all. In fact, before I got back into reading, um, in like 2023, I had read probably less than a book a year for like the 5 years preceding that. Just the logistics of it, not dyslexic or anything. Oh, so like making time and space and having some quiet and being able to give it your attention. Yeah. Yeah, that's totally it. And I try to set my life up to make it easy to read. I carry a book with me everywhere I go. You see, I have my bookmark slash note taking pencil. Oh boy, Restream has just informed me that I've received 100 messages today with Restream chat. Thank you, Henry and Lex, for making this milestone possible. Um, you have a book. Oh yeah, this is it. This is so well said. I have a book sitting on the kitchen table right now, but the glowing screen always wins. Yes. This might be a topic worth talking about in a video or something. Because this is something that I have struggled a lot with. Um, and the way that I solved this, actually, my way back in was I put the Kindle app on my phone. And I wasn't always successful in going to it. Do I still have it? I think I do, even though I've stopped using it. Loading recommendations. Yeah, actually, I have Gene Wolfe's Book of the New Sun right here. See where I left off reading it. And what I actually loved about this experience is that it was always in my pocket. It was so easy to just read anywhere. Um, and yeah, it would compete with like YouTube and Reddit. But what I've also done, I mean, I don't necessarily need to get all into my social media habits, right? But um, YouTube is the only social media. YouTube and Substack are the only social medias that I keep on my phone anymore. I got rid of Facebook. I got rid of Reddit. Reddit was a big one for me. A big, big, big one for me. The latest one you really liked was Paulo. Ooh, how do you pronounce that name? Coelho? Que- Coelho? Coelho. That seems like it might be right. Paulo Coelho. I've heard that name before. Paulo Coelho. How do you say his name? Best-selling Brazilian author and lyricist. Oh, The Alchemist. He wrote The Alchemist. Yes. I've not read any of his stuff, but I've heard tell of his creations. His most famous book, yeah, Alchemist. Yeah, okay. We both got there at the same time. Uh, what did you like about it, or about his writing in general? I've not read him, so I'm not yet acquainted, but I've always been curious. Oh boy, we got our first bot. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Um, hang on. Oh, how do I deal with spammers in Restream? I actually have no idea. That was a Twitch message, right? I think so. Pin, copy, reply. How do I do this? You know what I need? I need Twitch mods. I need mods. Message, warning, comments, ban. Oh, ban. Falco! Yo! Thank you. Thank you, brother. It's a very kind thing to say. Looking good, feeling good. Actually, I put on a few pounds over the holidays, so I'm working those back off. But I made my peace with it. I have fought over the holidays to keep things going, and in the last couple years, I've just said, you know what? I'm not going to stress myself out for 2 weeks over the holidays. I'm going to put on my 5, 10 pounds. I'll just lose it when I get home. That's what always happens, and I always stress about it. So what if I just didn't stress about it? I still stress a little bit, but how are you, Falco? Holy moly, it's been a minute, huh? Henry, you think The Alchemist is just a condensation of The Pilgrimage, as meta as it is? Oh, interesting. Falco, sometimes the food is part of the holiday experience. It is. I mean that's how I got to be the size of the man that I was, is food being part of the experience, not just holiday, but year round. So yeah, and one of my favorite things over the holidays is my family's oatmeal raisin cookie recipe, which I just ah, actually just saying it out loud makes me want to go bake a batch. Yeah, I need to figure out how to combine the YouTube and Twitch chats next time I sit down. Falco, so this is my first stream in like over 2 years, and I've decided that I'm going to try to stream once a week and just see what happens. I have an itch and I'm scratching it, and I can't exactly name that itch. I can't point to it, but I know when it's being scratched. So we're just gonna turn the stream on and feel it out together. Falco, in general, life's been good. Don't have much complaints. That's good. That's a good place to be. I'm relieved you found me on Twitch. You're my first. You are my first Twitch chatter in 2 years. So what's so good about life? You got nothing to complain about, huh? What's the secret? Is this the stream time slot? I think this is when it'll be. So I started at 6:30 p.m. Well, a little after 6:30 p.m. local time, my time. It's 8:30 p.m. right now. I'm gonna try to stream like 6 to 8. So I'm gonna try to start a little earlier and end a little earlier next time. And if I actually get into the habit, I'll start communicating that. I don't know, maybe we'll bring back the Discord and do some notifications and stuff too. You don't know if you have any secrets. I think you do. I think you've intrigued us all. At least you've intrigued me. A man who's happy and can't say why certainly has a secret. Or maybe just hasn't been asked. Luckily for you, I'm here to change that. I said I was gonna wrap up here at 8:30, and that's what time it is. Right again. What is up? Welcome and what's up? How have you been? Falco, if anything, you're at a point where you finished all your studies and landed a good job as a lab tech. That's a good place to be. Do you feel I know a lot of folks are having a hard time finding work, especially research jobs, getting out of school. So I don't know what your industry looks like, but that's really good to hear that you got something going. Education can be a pretty long journey, so getting to the payoff is really nice. That's great, man. Right again, not much. You dug my Guild Wars 2 podcasts back in the day. Well, thank you. I loved doing those podcasts. Actually, I would like to bring the podcast back. Um, but obviously, I'm not playing Guild Wars and I'm not playing Planetside or any games. So it's not super clear exactly what the pretext of the podcast would be or who I would talk to on it. But yeah, that was a good time. It was a real treat to get brought into the world of those folks making that game what it was. And it's Guild Wars is rocking and rolling still. I haven't played since End of Dragons, but they got the yearly expansions going now, and they just the relaunch of Guild Wars 1, Reforged or whatever, is such a temptation. I'm so tempted to go back. Falco, you got a notification earlier on in the week for my test stream. You kind of knew I was going to pop up today. Well, that's good. I'm really glad I did that test stream. I think at least a handful of folks saw it and noticed it. I'm really glad that I did it and that I actually said I was going to stream today. Now that's a lucky thing. Okay, we're 6 minutes out from 2 hours, so let's. I could end the stream now. Having fun. Let's get to the 2 hour mark. We'll call it a night. Interesting guests too. It's fascinating, right? When I started the podcast, I thought it was to talk about video games. And of course that was the sort of gravitational center of what was happening, but it didn't take very long before it ended up being like, "Oh, wow. These people are a lot more interesting than the games that they make." And the real pleasure of is getting to talk about their work and understand them through the lens of what they've built and what kind of effect they've had on the community and the worlds we got to share. I love that. Right again, you seem to be well connected with that community back in the day. You hope you found a suitable replacement in real life. Yeah, actually, that's a big part of what helped me put all that yeah put all that down. Um, is I found a real life community of folks who were coming together and trying to uh, do something creative together, and it was community building and community focused. Um, I could talk about barbershop music for hours, and I'm sure I will. But essentially, I found what I was looking for through the gaming world in a real life community, and what a blessing it's been. I do still miss I do still miss the people that I got to connect with. That's a part of the reason I'm here, actually, is because I still those connections are still they haven't quite iced over, and y'all are proving that by being here and chatting with me now. My content almost went 180 from cheerful to melancholic and philosophical. Yeah. Well, I was going through a melancholic time of life when I quit games and uh I did that because I wasn't happy, you know. Things in my life were not good. I needed to change stuff. I'm still working on that, but your note about keeping things cheerful is one I am taking to heart because I had the great delight to meet and marry uh, just the most lighthearted person I've ever known uh, on this good green earth. Uh, and I know from being around her that one of the things that I have a tendency to do, and I know it's not because of her telling me, but just because of my noticing my effect on her, that I can get a bit heavy at times. I really can. And I'm trying to, well, lighten up, I guess. Henry, maybe the people of it all was what really mattered all along. Yeah, brother. Yeah, you said it. I really appreciate that reflection, right? Again. Yeah. Um, I think it's like the thing about like the gaming stuff is it's so easy to come together cheerfully to talk about those things because there's such joy and there's such like a getting away from heaviness when you go into those worlds. That's one of the things that's so attractive about it. Um, but the limitations of where you can go with it is why I needed to make a change. And it's why I'm not playing video games sitting here talking with you now while we're just talking in a staring at my empty room. Well, I guess almost empty. Uh, and but yeah, I think there are many opportunities to lighten things up. Falco, the people made the game for you when it came to Planet Side. I was just reflecting on that the other day. Um, and if I had to name one game for me that was like the game that sort of represented the way that I wanted to show up in the world of gaming, I think Planet Side would be it. Even though I loved Guild Wars 2 and I still do, and the people there are amazing, and the community and ArenaNet were so good to me. Um, there's just something about the big social sandbox that I just loved. Still do love it actually. That love hasn't passed. There's a great quote in this book that I read that makes me seems kind of relevant to this discussion. I wonder if I can find it. I haven't done my annotations yet, so I don't have these marked. I'm gonna look for 1 minute. See if I can find it. For anyone who just joined recently, this is the Dispossessed, the science fiction book by Ursula K. Le Guin. I picked it up on the holiday, and I'm just about a few days away from finishing it up. Le Guin has a way with leaving just banger quotes, just like dropping them in the middle of something. Um, I don't know if I'm going to be able to quickly find this. But the sentiment of the quote, which I'm sure I will mangle in translating it to you, but I will try anyway, is something like, Re- we can only return to that which we let go of coming back to. She did a pretty good job capturing that, I think. But maybe I'll find the quote too. Um, right again, Guild Wars Reforged. Quite excited. Good to see people in multiple districts in most places again. They added a new outpost and two new ways of playing for this. Where's the new outpost located? Oh man, Old Ascalon. Scribe. I think I'm gonna have to notate my quotes in some kind of differentiated way for this book because I have so many annotations. Yeah, I'm sure I'll turn it up. Maybe next week I can share it with y'all. Pike and Square. Oh, right on. Pike and Square always felt like it should have been an outpost. It's kind of a dreary place, though, isn't it? I remember. Is it when you go through the breach in the Great Northern Wall to get to Pike and Square? That felt so epic, right? Oh man. Okay. Well, I'm going to retreat from memory lane. These Char are relentless, but we shall hold the wall at all costs. It sounds a little like a Patrick Stewart, Sean Connery kind of combination, doesn't he? I'm tempted to pull up a YouTube video and watch that, but instead, I'm going to keep my promise to myself and end this stream punctually. Uh, it's been a really good couple hours, and uh, shoot, just a treat and a half to get to hang out with y'all again. My plan is to return Thursday nights at around this time slot. So around 6 to 8 Pacific time. That's East Coast time. That would be around 9 to 11 p.m. And if you're in other time zones, I'm hoping you'll be able to do the math. Uh, but those of y'all who are finding me again, whether I'm talking to you now or you catch us in a VOD later, um, probably you know about my YouTube channel and my musings that I share, or as Radigan maybe would call them, my melancholy musings. If that's something you interests you, you can check those out. I also have a Substack newsletter where I do some writing. It's kind of creative, also perhaps melancholic. I'm realizing this more and more the more I think about it. And I should have my socials updated so that you can find those things. And those are some of the things that I'm doing every week to try to bring this thing out, whatever it is. Cheer up. You don't have to give up on parts of ourselves. Always a medium ground between the two extremes. Well said. Well said. And thank you for the encouragement. Okay, I think I've said my bit. Y'all have good nights or good days. See you soon, and God bless. Now let's see if I can figure out how to turn this thing off.